Alright, in this video, I am going to share with you how to get through the Bible three times in less than a year. So I started this project about 7 months ago, February, and I'm on my third reading of the Bible, and right now I am in the book of Joshua. So I started, I think it was on the 15th, and I'm at 15th of November, and it's November 20th, I believe. So here is what I've read so far. So this is what I have left, minus, I believe I read the book of Romans, Matthew, and Mark, and Revelation. So I'm just putting this all together here because I'll probably read through that again. But this is how much I have left to read for my third pass of reading the Bible. So one thing that's jumping out at me here, and I just highlighted this book, is a couple of things that I do now when I'm going through the Bible is I have a highlighter. So I have two Bibles. This one is just for when I go to church, a little bit of a light read. I don't make any notes in this one. It's the King James Version. This one is giant print. It's King James Version. Obviously, it's worn in quite a bit. This is where I make all my notes. I use this highlighter quite a bit. And what I do is I'm looking for things when I'm going through the Old Testament and even in the New Testament. So what am I looking for? One of the things that I'm looking for is, this is a little bit crooked here. I am looking for the tribe of Ephraim. Okay, pay attention to that. I'm also paying attention to the tribe of Dan, because the tribe of Dan is not mentioned in the book of Revelation, which is kind of interesting. So, one of the main reasons why I am paying attention to the tribe of Ephraim, obviously it's a half tribe of Joseph. So whenever you hear or come across the story of Joseph, pay attention to that as well, and what happens with his two sons, Manasseh and Ephraim. Ephraim is the younger son of Joseph, and Jacob did a double blessing on Ephraim and actually switched the birth order by switching his hands. So there's lots of debate as to who the tribe of Ephraim is, what happened to them, all this kind of stuff, especially during the dispersion of all the 10 northern tribes of Israel. An interesting thing to note is, and I never picked up on this, but the first king of Israel, the 10 northern tribes, is from the tribe of Ephraim. That is Jeroboam. Jeroboam got the 10 tribes, and King Solomon's son Rehoboam, he took over Judah, Benjamin, and the Levites. The Levites were kicked out of the northern tribes, and they became part of Judah. So just pay attention to that kind of stuff, because it becomes very important when you get to the major and minor prophets. So that's what I do, is I comb through it. And again, Joshua is a descendant of Ephraim, which is interesting. This is the 6th book of the Bible. Very interesting. This is probably one of the most perfect books of the Bible, because Joshua did everything. He did everything right, everything perfect. There's 24 chapters in this book, the book of Joshua. So, and then when you get into Judges, pay attention again to the tribes of Israel. Don't just glean over it, but if you're looking at it with a fine-tooth comb, you're paying attention to Ephraim, you're paying attention to the tribe of Dan. Obviously, we know what happens with the tribe of Judah, because they get carried away to Babylon, and after 70 years they come back. But the other 10 tribes go into Assyria. They don't come back. They get dispersed, and there's lots of prophecy about them coming back in the end times. So think about that when you're going through the Bible. I'm telling you, this, I can't get enough of this. There's times where I'm like, I'm jumping all over the place now, because when you spend hours and hours in the Bible, a light switch comes on, and all of a sudden you start paying attention to things, and it's quite fascinating. And this book gets more and more in depth, but it gets smaller as well, because all of a sudden you're seeing things in Genesis, in the book of Joshua, in the New Testament, in the book of Isaiah, Jeremiah, Ezekiel. You start seeing things, and it's all really one book at the end of the day. It's the Holy Bible. You're not going to find this in any other religion. You're not going to find thousands of years, right from the beginning of mankind to basically Judgment Day. You're not going to find anything else like that. So this is why this book is fascinating. It's confusing to people like Sam Harris and all these guys. So I've been watching some of his videos where he comes down strong on God. And it's interesting. I might make a video about that, just kind of debunking some of the things that he has said, because it's opposite. When you dive into this, you see God's mercy over and over and over again. It's actually unbelievable how much mercy God has for his people. And it's all about restoring the nation of Israel, all 12 tribes. Because when all 12 tribes come together, they become the light of the world. And eventually all the nations are going to want to visit or come to Jerusalem one day and worship God. Anyways, there's my 2 cents for the day. So I hope you get something out of this. I hope this encourages you to dive in, start in the book of Genesis, and use your highlighter and keep track of a couple of tribes of Israel. See what's going on. Whenever you see these tribes, put a little highlighter around the name of the tribe. So if you see Dan, little highlighter over that. If you see Ephraim, little highlighter there. You don't have to highlight everything. And eventually you'll see what a pattern emerging in the Bible. Hope that helps. See you later, and have a great day.